الله وبركاته. How's it going today? So we've said that So we said if you would like to have the sisters actually sitting in the back, you can do that. But if they want to stay in the room, that's also an option for them. Have you told them that there's a class today? No, we don't. So maybe my wife should have done this, but she's not here now. She's home today. So. Anyways, this is going to be recorded, inshallah, right? And if you guys want to record it, I don't mind. Today we're going to start the first hadith of the 40 Nawawi hadith. We are not to start immediately, so I don't waste your time and my time. I want to give some introductions, but maybe you can do this in another halaqah, inshallah, because of your time. The hadith is long. Every one of these hadith is actually long, and it's going to take some time for us to cover everything. I said we have two books. One of them is Jami' al-Ulum wal-Hikam by Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali. This book is a very, as I said today in the message on WhatsApp, it's a pre-modern traditional book. It's very difficult to read sometimes. Even in Arabic, it's hard for you to read, for Arabic-speaking people to read. In English, it's even harder because it's translated from that difficult Arabic language into English, so it's not the original language. It's very difficult to understand. But there is this one, Al-Arba'in An-Nawawiyya, and Sharh Sheikh Muhammad Salih Al-Uthaymin, as I mentioned today in the group. And we found a book. If you don't mind, please share it with people, please. This is the material you guys need to have. And I found some sources online in English. So it was translated, but not the entire book. Like some parts of it, or some notes, just of what the Sheikh says. I think it's summary of his explanation. But the entire book in English, I don't think you'll find it in English, right? But you can still you can find out online, whatever, you can find the notes, right? The summary for what the Sheikh. I shared it with you today in WhatsApp group, you can do that as well, right? So you have this source that I recommend, because Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen, I'm not one of his followers. Yesterday I mentioned the name of Sheikh Abu Ishaq al-Huwaini. Again, I'm not one of his followers. I have to always say that. Because if I say his name in a halaqah or khutbah, I might think you might think I'm following his madhab or his school of thought or whatever. No, I'm not, right? I'm an Azhari, that's it. But I recommend this book because I have studied some of his books at Al-Azhar, and it's very easy to read at the university. Like if you read, for example, the explanation of Riyadh al-Salihin, right? By other scholars like Ibn Daqiq al-Eid, he explained some of Riyadh al-Salihin in his book Ihkam al-Ahkam, Sharh Hamd al-Ahkam, for example. If you read the Imams, as I mentioned before, the Imam al-Shawkani, Nail al-Awtar, you will find him also explaining some of the hadith of Riyadh al-Salihin, Bukhari Muslim, Ibn Hajar in Fath al-Bari, explaining Sahih al-Bukhari, right? But if you go to Ibn Uthaymeen, rahimahullah ta'ala, he also explains the hadith of Bukhari and Muslim, but in a very easy language that you can read, right? For Arabic-speaking people and for I don't know if it's translated for you guys. It's going to be easy because he's a modern traditional scholar. When we say modern, we don't mean he's not traditional. He's secular. There's a difference between secular and modern scholar. Modern is just we're talking about the time here. But pre-modern is something from the past. Modern is something of today, but it's traditional as well. He's still following the traditional way of teaching Islam. Through the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the Quran, and تفسير القرآن بالقرآن, تفسير القرآن بالسنة, تفسير القرآن بأقوال الصحابة, تفسير القرآن بأقوال التابعين through Arabic language. That's all traditional approach, right? So that's what Ibn Uthaymeen does as well. But he is a modern scholar. So the word modern shouldn't scare you, because some people are scared of the word modern. Modern is not secular, right? It's just it's something related to the time where we used to live. This book, mashallah, Abdullah Khalid found it in the library. I didn't know that. I didn't know we have it downstairs in the library. So for Arabic-speaking people, I recommend that you buy this book, right? And for people who don't know Arabic, you will find some sources online in English, but I don't think it's the entire book. Have you guys found something today? Nothing, right? But I sent you a link. If you look up a line on Google, you'll find some sources, taking some notes, right? Some students we basically were taking some notes from the Sheikh's lectures and his book, and then they summarized everything in English, right? And you will find some explanations also online of some sheikhs who were explaining the 40 Nawi ahadith based on the explanation of Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen. And that's not what we're going to do. We're not doing that. We're not taking from Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen as our only source. We don't do that. Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali is not our only source, but it's Hanbali aslan. And we're not all of us are Hanabila, right? Some of us are Shafi'iyya, some are Malikiyya, some are Hanfiyya. So he's أصلا حنبلي يعني. And Shaykh Ibn Uthaymeen طبعا Salafi حنبلي. Look him up if you want. You know? So we're not Salafis, all of us. We're not all of us Hanbalis. But it's an easy book that we can read. It's a good source for us that we can have, and then we can comment on some of his commentary. Right? So it's a commentary on the commentary, which is very important for you to understand what we're doing in this class. As I said before, you can just go through the introduction yourself. We talked about this before Ramadan, before we started, and we said that how important this book is for every Muslim, guys, because when he heard the hadith of Rasulullah about whoever combines 40 ahadith, he will have certain rewards in the day of judgment. Does anybody remember the hadith, what it says? Does anybody remember what the hadith says? If you combine 40 ahadith, what is the reward? Do you remember without cheating? You remember, because it was before Ramadan. The hadith says he will be resurrected on the day of judgment in the zumrat of ulama, in the group of ulama on the day of judgment, right? And that's why you find a lot of people throughout the history. If you go to Google and you find, if you just type al-arba'in, al-arba'un hadith, you will find so many 40 ahadith. So many 40 ahadith. There are 40 ahadith in the virtues of the Quran, 40 ahadith in the virtues of the Sahaba, virtues of the mothers of the believers, the wives of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Some of them about the day of judgment. There's even someone, Egyptian sheikh, he wrote a book about al-arba'un al-riyadiyya. 40 ahadith about the importance of exercising. You know, I know today going to the gym is haram, but Islam tells you to move. Islam doesn't want you to just sit down. You should move, right? And today when we see a sheikh moving, the first reaction is, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. That's the reality. Go find out about this book. Type on Google right now if you want, Al-Arba'un Al-Riyadiyya, and to go read 40 ahadith on the importance of exercising and doing riyadh. Right? So a lot of students ask, can I go to the gym? Yeah, go and lower your gaze. You go to the university. I want to ask you some question about the university as well? Okay, don't go to the university. Happy now? Go to the gym and lower your gaze. You live here in Canada, right? You don't go to work. Because you need to lower your gaze at work as well. Of course, you lower your gaze, abide by the rules of the Sharia, and exercise is important, right? Shaykh Umar Sulaiman, he wrote a book about the 40 ahadith on social justice. I think I'm right, you can look it up, I think it's the title of the... He also did that. He wanted to be amongst those scholars who are going to be resurrected on the day of judgment with the jurists of this ummah. May Allah make us amongst those Allahumma ameen. How many ahadith do we have in the 40 Nawi ahadith? How many are there?
42.
Thank you. I was waiting for someone to tell me the 40 what are you talking about. Because if you look at the clock right now, it's 8:56. If I ask you what's the time right now, what are you gonna say?
It's 55.
It's gonna say you're gonna say it's 5 to 10, 5 to 9.
5 to 9.
Right? But if it's 8:59, what are you gonna tell me? 8:59? You're gonna say it's 9 o'clock. So that's what the Arabs do. Arabs do that as well. If it's 40, but there's one or two more, you say 40. You don't have to, like you say that you don't come tell me it's 9:01. It's 9:02. You don't do that, right? So that's why the Imam Shafi'i said, علماء العربية هم جن الإنس لأنهم يدركون ما لا يدركه غيرهم. He said the linguistics, scholars of Arabic language, they are the jinn of humans. Because they understand what others don't understand. You know, we're approaching the khutbah and the halaqat. We always approach the Quran from a linguistic perspective. What is the origin of this word? And once you hear the origin of a word, it takes you to another dimension of understanding. It's not what you read in English. It's not. It's not. You read something in English online, and there are so many examples. I don't want to give examples right now, it's a huge file. But you read something in English, and then when you know the origin of the words in Arabic, you know something else. And this is why, if you know Arabic language, you're gonna be considered as a jinn amongst us, right? Okay, so the first hadith, there's a surprise tonight that you need to know. And that's why I said you need to take notes. And that's why I'm recording this. I have recorded this working a hadith in the past, I think 5 years ago. But it wasn't accurately recorded or explained. So maybe this time I'm going to do it again and record the whole thing down from the first hadith. The first surprise that we have tonight is that this hadith, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ, actions are based on intentions. So before we finish this halaqah or before we continue, you need to ask yourself, why am I here? There are people who are like flies, trying to find something that they can pick on. But there are some people like bees, they're trying to find something beneficial to learn and go implement right away. There's no one time I go on a vacation and I go to attend the khutbah, which is, you can count them on one hand, the times I pray the ma'moom on Friday. It's painful. You know, I would love to pray more khutbahs as a ma'moom, to hear someone else talking, to listen to someone else. Hearing my voice every single Friday is painful. Right? So when I go listen to someone and I have someone with me, a friend or a family member, once we come out of the khutbah, and of course we have to give our opinion on the khutbah. You know, we're humans, we like to express our opinions. There's always something wrong with the khatib. There's always something wrong with him. If you want to pick on his mistakes, you will find something bad in what he's saying, and you will find the reason for you to hate him and think he doesn't know what he's talking about because you obviously know everything. Right? But every time I go after a khutbah, I make sure I force myself to not say something negative about that sheikh who gave the khutbah. I'm not telling you don't say something negative about me after the halaqah. You say whatever. It doesn't matter. What matters is what I'm talking about right now. Whatever you're gonna do, it's up to you. But what I'm talking about right now is some people are trying to find something to benefit from. Those are the ones that are gonna make it to Jannah easily. Some people are trying to find something to pick on. Something wrong. He heard something else somewhere that contradicts what we're saying. And he's going to say it. So the surprise tonight is this hadith is an ahad hadith. This is a problem actually in our tradition when we find an ahad hadith. High school students here, I have explained to you before what an ahad hadith is, what ahad means. Does anybody remember from the high school students? We talked about it so many times. If none of you remembers, I'm not going to teach at home the school again. One sahabi only?
1 to 3.
1 to 3. Thank you. Alhamdulillah. I'm going to continue teaching her. I said ahad hadith is a hadith that's narrated by one person. That's called ahad. If it's narrated by 2 people, what do you call this hadith? Huh? 2 people. No, ahad is 1 person. No, like one sahabi says, Umar, only narrate this hadith. This is ahad hadith. That's the one of the weakest. But we're going to talk about why is it authentic. And it's Sahih Bukhari. Why is it Sahih Bukhari and Muslim? If it's ahad. If it's narrated by 2 sahaba.
ثانيا or ثانيا؟
No.
9.
Huh?
9.
9?
9.
Huh?
9.
It's 9. No. If it's 2 narrators, does anybody want to give another guess or something? High school students forgot, but it's okay. It's Aziz. We call it Aziz. That's the term. Terms. I have a lot of terms actually. Students hate terms, but I love them. Students hate them. I get every single time. 30% of the test is just terms. You hate them, I love them. Because you need to know these terms. So if it's narrated by 3 people, 3 Sahabi, what do you call it? Huh?
3 is Salasa, but I don't know.
Mashhur. It's famous. Mashhur. So if it's one narrator, it's ahad. You should write this down. I know it's recorded, nobody's going to write down anything, and that's how we lose knowledge. Whatever. So 1 is ahad, 2 is aziz, 3 is mashhur. All these together combined are still called ahad. That's the classification. 1, 2, 3, all of them ahad. But each one of them has a term. So once you start 4 narrators, no, that's mutawatir خلاص. We'll start with mutawatir بقى. Authentic. خلاص? That's authentic here. So if we look at this hadith from this angle, I know it can be technical, but whatever بقى. And I have to tell you this. Look, our teachers at the university used to tell us, I'm not here to make you a scholar. I'm here. I'm not here, guys, actually to tell you debates and make you happy, excited. I'm not here to make you. I'm not a storyteller. I'm not. I'm here to tell you tools that you can use to read the tradition. That's what I'm trying to do here. You know, there's ahad, there's aziz, there's mashhur, there's mutawatir. Once it's 4 narrators and above, that's authentic. That's what I'm here to tell you. I'm here to tell you that if the hadith is only narrated by 1 sahabi, it is not an authentic hadith. But why is this hadith is in Bukhari and Muslim? Why? Can anybody tell me? If it's only narrated by Sayyidina Umar alone, why is it in Bukhari and Muslim? It's not actually mutawatir. Why? Even if it's not sahih, even if it's authentic, it's not. Very strong is not. All of them are reliable narrators. But it's only 1 narrator in each level of this chain. It is considered ahad, and it's supposed to be weak. So why is it inside Bukhari Muslim? Ahad does not give you al-ilm. It gives you a-dhann. A-dhann means there's some doubt about it. But mutawatir, there's ilm there. It's authentic.
Because the strength of the chain. There might be an ayah in the Quran that also says something.
Exactly. This is the point. Because there are ayat and ahadith, other authentic ahadith and other ayat in the Quran itself, which is all mutawatir, that support the same idea, the same theme of this hadith. So what do you call that? Because I love terms, right? What do you call when you have an idea in a weak hadith, or possibly weak? I'm not saying all ahad are weak. Possibly weak. It's not mutawatir. It only gives you dhann, not ilm. So what do you call it? If you have a possibly weak hadith that is supported by other ayat and other authentic ahadith, what do you call these authentic ahadith and other authentic ayat? What do you call that? Okay, we call this shawahid. You know shahid?
Yeah.
Shahid is what?
Witness.
Witness. Shahid. Right? The plural of shahid is shawahid. So when you have other ayat and other authentic mutawatir ahadith that support the same theme of a weak or possibly weak hadith, we call this ayat and ahadith that are supporting him shawahid. So let's say I'm an ahad hadith and you guys are shawahid. To make it easy for us to understand. خلاص? Shawahid are supporting ayat and supporting hadith. So this hadith has a lot of other supporting ayat and hadith. And one of them, for example, Allah said, وَمَا تُنْفِقُونَ إِلَّا بِتِغَاءَ وَجْهِ اللَّهِ. The idea of when you spend, you only spend seeking the face of Allah, face was the face of Allah literally, which means the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah said about the believers, تَرَاهُمْ رُكَّعًا سُجَّدًا. You find them in ruku' and in sujood. يَبْتَغُونَ فَضْلًا يَبْتَغُونَ. Their intention is that they're seeking the reward, the fadlan min Allahi wa ridwanan, and His pleasure. So we have a lot of hadith talking about the importance of the niyyah. That's why this week or possibly weak ahad hadith is in Bukhari and Muslim. And you know what is the first hadith in Sahih Bukhari?
This is the one.
This is the same this same one we're talking about. So if you open Sahih Bukhari, you will find this is the first hadith in Sahih Bukhari. What is the last hadith in Sahih Bukhari? Huh? Anyone? كلمتان. Say it. كلمتان خفيفتان على اللسان ثقيلتان في الميزان حبيبتان إلى الرحمن سبحان الله وبحمده سبحان الله العظيم. It's like your life is between intention and remembrance of Allah. So this hadith is about the remembrance of Allah. خلاص يا جماعة؟ خلاص. That's why I'm saying you should take some notes. Maybe because maybe you hear some one information that's interesting to you. Like it's interesting to know the first hadith is and the last hadith Sahih Bukhari is كلمتان خفيفتان على اللسان. It's a good information for me to know as a Muslim. So why don't you take a note? Because it's recorded and then we'll never listen to it again. Knowledge is gone. It's gone. You know?
So Shawahid al-Hadith is the supporting Sahih.
The supporting ayat, because all the Quran is mutawatir, and mutawatir ahadith of the same theme of that ahad hadith. Sometimes you find a weak hadith that the whole ummah is using and working upon it. Why? Because it's been a weak hadith because it has a lot of shawahid. Now, shawahid. But shahid and the plural is shawahid. But I don't want to go into so much details. I have a lot of points here. Let me just go through them very fast. Rasulullah said, فَمَنْ كَانَتْ هِجْرَتُهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ فَهِجْرَتُهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ. Whoever migrates for the sake of Allah and His Prophet, so his migration is, again he repeated the same thing, for the sake of Allah and His Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But for the other person who did not migrate for the sake of Allah, he said, وَمَنْ كَانَتْ هِجْرَتُهُ إِلَى دُنْيَا يُصِيبُهَا أَوْ امْرَأَةٍ يَنْكِحُهَا. But whoever migrated to seek some worldly gains or to marry a woman, فَهِجْرَتُهُ إِلَى مَا هَاجَرَ إِلَيْهِ. So his migration is for whatever he migrated for, and he did not repeat the same statement again. Why? Why did he repeat in the first case with the sincere person for the sake of Allah and His Prophet? He repeated the same thing, same words, but the second time he did not repeat the same thing. He just said for whatever he migrates for. He said dunya or woman, and then whatever he migrates for. Why is it?
To include other stuff. To be more generic.
That's a good answer because, if your intention is not Allah and His Prophet, you have so many other reasons. If I ask you this question, why did you guys migrate to Canada? I know it's an embarrassing question, you don't want to hear it, but I like to ask it. I always ask the students, you know what, you were born and raised here, maybe. But what about your parents? Why do you think they came here? Give me reasons. Why did our parents come here? Just be honest. Let's be happy. Just tell me.
One of the reasons.
It's not the best, right? So you're looking for what?
Get for a peaceful living.
Peaceful living, and what else?
Money.
Money. Alhamdulillah, that's it. God is here. Anything else? Health. Health. Your system, right? Education, more education. I want to have a lot of money, basically. How many of us or our parents came here only to implement Islam and do da'wah? I'm not going to answer. You need to answer this question.
Close to zero.
I didn't say anything. I heard close to zero. But I need to ask myself, why did I come here? I'm not telling you that I'm amazing. I also came here because of the same reasons. And to be a da'i at the same time because I cannot do da'wah in English in Egypt. Where I'm going to do that. But a part of the reason is more money, health, education here, sickness, business ways here. If you have money and time, it's easy. Da'wah, of course. That's why I've been doing this for 10 years. Right? In this masjid. Right? So you need to ask yourself. And just be sincere, you don't have to answer to us. Why did I come here? Obviously, to make more money. Obviously, because of my children's education. Are these all bad reasons? No, they're not bad reasons. With your intention, I wanted to make money because I want to be independent and provide for myself and my family and make the Muslim community stronger. Is that for the sake of Allah and His Prophet? Yes? Excellent. I came here to seek knowledge because I want to be a good representation of Islam in front of other people. Is that for Allah's sake and His Prophet?
Yes.
Great. So I'm not here to tell you all of you guys are not good. I'm not saying that. Any action can be for the sake of Allah. It depends on your intention. Khalas? Let's go to next. I have a lot of points here. I have to skip a lot. Yeah, here's an interesting point. How many times you've heard that it's a bid'ah to pronounce your intention before an action, before a kind of worship? Like how many times you heard al-niyya mahalluha al-qalb, intention is only in your heart, and if you pronounce it out loud, it is bid'ah. How many times you heard that? Twice.
I haven't heard.
I hear it all the time. It's here.
Yeah.
If you read this book, it's here. And this is why I'm saying that's one of the examples of when you open this book of Sheikh Muhammad ibn Zahir al-Uthaymeen, Sayyidna wa Shaykhana. He is a Hanbali scholar. Sayyidna. I'm saying Sayyidna because we're nothing compared to him. Nothing. Nothing compared to him. But he is so knowledgeable in one madhab. He forces you to follow one madhab. I don't want that. He used to give his lessons in Saudi, but I'm here in Canada. I'm in Canada. I have people here from certain countries. They follow different madhab, right? So we can be different. So some of the Hanbali scholars, even Imam al-Zarkashi, Imam al-Nawawi from the Shafi'iyya, some Shafi'iyya, some Hanafiyya, said it's okay to pronounce your niyyah out loud. So always you people, if you come to the masjid and say, Nawaitu usalli al-dhuhr, I have intention to pray al-dhuhr. Allahu Akbar, somebody will tell him it's a bid'ah. I'm sure you must have heard that. You must, if not, you didn't hear it in the future. Why? Because there's a piece of knowledge here is hidden from us. It's just hidden. I did this practically with some of the high school students, grade 11 and 12. I took them to 2 websites. And we went to the 2 websites. One of them is Hanbali Salafi website, Islam Q&As. And the second one is very diverse website, AMJA, Assembly of Muslim Jews in America. And we went together through the website, we went to About. You can do it right on your phones. We went to About. That's how we do research. We went to About. We found that Islam Q&A is run by a group of students of one Sheikh, Muhammad ibn Salih al-Munajjid. But the website is called what? Again? Islam Q&A. Islam Q&A. But it's the opinion of one person. You should call this website Sheikh Muhammad ibn Salih al-Munajjid's website. Isn't this more honest?
Yeah.
That's more honest. You're telling us who's doing this, but you're hiding behind the word Islam Q&A. And then you go to the European Council, for example, of Fatwa and Research. You found 34 scholars, 17 of them from the European continent, and 17 from outside of the European continent, from America, Africa, India, Asia, other places in the world. 17 from Europe, 17 from outside the world, with all this diversity, and they come under this title, the European Council of Fatwa and Research. So when you're a poor Muslim, you go online and you find Islam Q&A and European, they're European. What are they going to tell me about Islam? European, right? Because you did not read about, you did not know who's behind European. There are 34 scholars waiting for you to come with different schools of thought and PhDs and so many qualifications. Why are you stuck with one sheikh who's Hanbali and Salafi? Because the word Islam. And that's why a lot of people play with our youth's minds. Because they use slogans. And the kids go after the slogan. I like that word. I want to do that thing. I'm not going to give examples. I've talked to them about that before. You know what I'm talking about. I don't need to pick on anyone again. But there's a big word is used. Yes, I want to implement that one thing. What about Fajr prayer? Malish doubt. I want to do that. Fajr prayer, everybody speaks about Fajr prayer. But somebody's talking about Khilafah. I'm going to do that. So Sheikh Muhammad Hafizullah Sayyidina is a Hanbali Imam, Hanbali scholar. And that's why he says that Niyyah is only in your heart, you cannot pronounce a Niyyah. But we said there's a lot of different opinions amongst the scholars. And some Hanbali, some Shafi'i, some Maliki, even some Hanafi said it's okay to pronounce your Niyyah. You want details? It can be another file we can open later. If I give you details, we're not going to finish this. It's page 6, and we'll have until page 13. I don't know how we're going to finish this now. Whatever. I have to be as fast as possible. Question for you quickly. Why do you think intention is important? You're going to learn about intention. So why is it important? Why is it the basis of all action? Somebody raise his hand and you raise your hand. Exactly, because you're getting the word based on the intention. Why? Why, Mikhail?
Your action is based on intention, because without your intention, you could be doing the action for something else.
Okay, awesome. I will take from Mikhail and build on this. You can do the action without the intention, and it becomes aada, not ibadah. So intention is important because the one reason is to differentiate between aada and ibadah. And that's why the scholars of tazkiyah, I always talk to you about tazkiyah, right? Which nobody likes because tazkiyah is to do adhkar. That's not what I want to do. I want people to see me, right? I want to be outside in the community, doing dawah in the street. Awesome, great job. Doing, using big words, but adhkar, ya Rabbi. They say, عبادات أهل الغفلة عادات. The worship, the actions of worship of people of heedlessness are habits, are considered habits. Like what? Somebody came to pray, but he came to pray to show off. Or someone who is driving a taxi, for example, and he came to pray because his knees hurt. Or because he's bored of sitting for a long time. So he wants to go walk. But his intention is not only to please Allah alone. No, to show off, to meet his friends in the masjid, to spread his, his legs because his knees hurt. So his ibadah, because of his heedlessness, became a aada, became a habit. But if you put it the other way around, somebody is doing a aada. Eating is a aada. Somebody is eating because he's hungry. That's it. It's a biological thing you have to do it, But somebody is eating because Allah said in the Quran. Do you have any ayah that says eat in the Quran? Do you have anything like that? Allah said, وَكُلُوا وَاشْرَبُوا. What surah is this? A'raf. وَكُلُوا وَاشْرَبُوا. Eat and I can be drinking because my throat is dry, which is the case. And I can be drinking because the intention is I want to have more energy to be able to continue this class. Which wasn't really my intention at the moment. But I need to fix it. Allah said, وَكُلُوا وَاشْرَبُوا. So the ibadah of ahlul yaqadha. So you have ghafla and yaqadha. Ghafla is heedlessness. If you do an action of worship with heedlessness, it becomes a ibadah, a habit. But if you do a habit with yaqadha is mindfulness. To be mindful of what you're doing for the sake of Allah, it becomes a ibadah. خلاص؟ نعم شيخ.
In order to do ibadah, should the intention only be purely for Allah, just Allah, or could you have multiple intentions in
about this?
I don't know. I'm asking.
Oh, okay. Because Imam Ibn Ziyad al-Hanbali talked about this and it's confusing. Right? And that's why I said, forget about Ibn al-Hanbali, go to Ibn Taymiyyah, his modern scholar, it's easy for you to read. Imam al-Qurtubi also, when he talked about this idea, I talked to some of you guys, he asked me the same question. Imam al-Qurtubi said, your intention has to be, at the beginning, purely for the sake of Allah. At the beginning. But in the middle of your action, you find people are admiring what you're doing, praising you, giving you things, that's okay. That comes as a package together, it's a reward. And the Prophet said, ذَلِكَ عَاجِلُ بُشْرَى الْمُؤْمِنِ. It's a glad news, glad tidings for the believer that Allah is giving you in this world before day after. Right? So it's not haram, but start your intention with the intention for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Maybe you can stop here, yes, inshallah? You can stop here. But before I stop, I want to ask a question. And this question is a little bit technical question, and you can actually go home with it. We stopped at page 7. Please remember by next time. Which book is more authentic, Al-Bukhari or Muslim? Because this hadith is Al-Bukhari and Muslim. So now, as I said, we're now learning keys. Keys. To understand. Which one is more authentic, Bukhari or Muslim?
The scholar says Bukhari.
In?
It says Bukhari is more authentic.
It's more authentic.
But Muslim is easier to read because of the way it was.
Excellent. You heard this from me in the Hour of Halaqat, I think. No? So, that is excellent. So Al-Bukhari is stronger. Why is Al-Bukhari stronger that is more authentic than Muslim? Why? High school students. You're 8 actually in high school.
Because Bukhari put the condition that you accept the hadith, or you put the hadith in the book, after people would actually, like the chain of people would actually
Exactly. We've discussed that in the class before, right? No? Excellent.
You don't need a test.
Huh?
You don't need a test.
Don't worry guys, you get full marks. Here's the answer. If you narrate something from a sheikh, and you say to other friends, I heard that sheikh saying this. This is the condition of Al-Bukhari. You have to have met him, you have to have lived in the same locality, you have to have been his student. The Imam Muslim does not have all these conditions. The only condition he has is al-mu'asara. They just live together at the same time. Yeah, what if someone lives in Regina and the other is in Ontario and they never got? There are people in Regina that never go to Ontario. There's no reason. And there's no, at that time, there's no YouTube and there's nothing online. So how would he know what the Rasulullah said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? The Muslim doesn't care. He says the condition is al-mu'asara, they lived at the same time. Because if no, they have to have met and he has been a student and heard from him and then he narrates. That's why Bukhari is stronger, right? That's one of the conditions at the beginning of the introduction of this Sahih. That's the condition he mentioned at the introduction. Sharab to Muslim, that's his condition. Like what? Oh, I didn't like that. He doesn't have this. What do you mean, example? Everything. It's Muslim.
So like they just have to meet each other and then whatever they talk.
He doesn't have. You don't have to meet him. That's Muslim. That's his condition. You just have to have lived at the same time, in the same era.
How would you narrate?
No.
If someone lives in a religion, how can he say Sheikh Muhammad said this?
Exactly. Maybe someone else told him. Maybe they have met. But Sayyidina Umar here, what did he say in the hadith? Without looking, don't cheat. What did he say? First word of the hadith. No, before that. Before, the first word of the hadith. سمعت. He said, I heard the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That is the condition of Bukhari. I heard Rasulullah. No Muslim doesn't care about سمعت. He cares about قال رسول الله. Rasulullah said sallallahu alaihi wasallam. سمعت is a Bukhari. I heard him in person. And if you go a little bit deeper, you will recognize why we have a lot of weak ahadith in our tradition. And we're gonna talk, this is a separate discussion. If we open this file right now, it's not gonna close out. We're not gonna close it. I used to study Mustalah when I was at the university and high school, and I used to feel, okay, so who exactly the question you asked? Okay, how would I know that Sahih Muslim is authentic? Anyways. And if that is the peak of ahadith, what about the Tirmidhi and Abu Dawood and Al-Tabari and so let's not open this file right now, but we can open it later. We can open it later. Because it's a very difficult file to discuss, right?
It's more of a clarification than a question. Okay. My understanding of Salafiyya is predecessors. So people that came before us, that's my understanding. So for example, our Salafs as Muslims are the companions, it have been people that came before us. So people say Salafiyya, people following the companions and Tabi'in. But I do hear it every time say we are not Salafis, we are not Salafiyya. So like this is my understanding of the meaning of Salafiyya. People following the companions, the way Islam is the traditional Islam. This is my understanding of it. So I just want to get the clarification when you always say we are not Salafs, we are not Salafi. I just want to get the clarification.
You know what? If something the Sufi says, I will say the same thing. Last Friday I was talking in the Tabi'ins, remember? Because when they go to conquer the world without permission, I was picking on them. And now I'm picking on the Salafis because they're stuck in the Hanbali madhab. And tomorrow you will find me picking on the Sufis. If they do something that comes our way. Why am I doing this? Because I don't belong to any group. So I don't need to defend any group. If they make mistakes, I pick on that mistake. As a way of that one. I don't have to defend anyone. They make mistakes, they defend themselves, and I point that out. So if you felt offended, that's not what I intended. I don't want to offend you if you like the Salafiyya, right? But always the question is, are you talking about the Salafiyya Aslan or Salafiyya Manhajan? What do I mean by this? The methodology of Salaf is the Sahaba of Rasulullah and this is used in the next generation, right? But the people who are called Salafis today, are they following these three generations?
No.
Some of them.
Salafiyya Aslan. We're talking about this, I'm talking about the Salafi of this time and age we're living in. Not about the Salafiyya, the methodology of the Sahaba and the Tabi'un and who comes after. No, not talking, of course. Oh my. No one. That's the answer. No one. So I'm not talking about the methodology of As-Salaf As-Salih, the Sahaba Rasulullah. I'm talking about the Salafiyya who live amongst us today, who only follow Sayyidina Ahmad ibn Hanbal. Only. And again, that's another file. I can open it and give you books, names of books. You go and see the names of the scholars they mention. Only 5-6 scholars they quote in the tradition. Where's the rest of the tradition? Where is the Hanafi? Where is the Shafi'i? Where is the Maliki? They have died, all of them? Why do you have to delete certain parts of some traditional books? One example, and I will conclude. There's a book called Al-Kabair. I mentioned this in high school as well. Al-Kabair, major sense, by Imam Al-Zahabi. Right? In this book Al-Kabair, one of the Kabair that he mentioned is إِذَا أَوْلِيَاءِ اللَّهِ, harming the awliya of Allah, the close friends of Allah. In the most recent versions that some Salafi groups printed, they removed that from the book. Why did they remove it? Why? We have to, because there's obvious reasons. We have some agenda. We know who is supporting. But I don't want to open this file right now. It's a huge file. Again, if the Sufi do the same thing, if I find the Sufi going to worship the grapes, if he does that, I will point that out. And actually, I have done it in the past. When I was talking about dua, there's no one between you and Allah. Why do you have to go ask a human? Ask Allah. وإذا سألك عبادي عني فإني قريب. خلاص, Sufi are bad in this, wrong in this. Tablighi. Somebody comes to me, they read this فضائل الأعمال, not فضائل الأعمال. فضائل الأعمال is a weak book. It's full of bid'ah. What? And he wants to create a problem. I never take it. They come here, do some khair and go. But there are some mistakes with this group. We'll point them out. It doesn't mean all Salafis are bad, all Sufis are bad, all Tablighi's are bad. No. So that's why what's talking about the Salafiyya of today and their the time, not about the methodology. Jazakallah khair, subhanallah. Continue inshallah with we'll continue inshallah with the first hadith next time. Pizza's here? Oh, we'll have pizza. Wait. So you guys stay inshallah. And there is pizza. Jazakallah khair, Brother Sa'd. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward you for that. Please don't go until you have your pizza first. Question.
When we're looking to reference a hadith for a certain topic, should the starting point always be Sahih Bukhari?
The authenticity, it has to be Bukhari. But not all the hadith in the 14 hadith are Sahih Bukhari, not all of them. But all of them are authentic. They can be weak from one angle, but they are authentic from another angle. Yeah, we'll see that inshallah next time. Everything in 14 is authentic. Another question?
You talk about the hand stuff. Should we not say something by thinking that if we hand something is a good thing or a bad thing?
Not saying the names of the group is gonna, I think, is gonna confuse people even more. Because these names are mentioned in papers, mentioned in books, mentioned in research, they are online, they're everywhere. So I'm just mentioning the group who does that thing. You know, but not with the intention of offending. If somebody is offended, he has to ask me and I will clarify. We shouldn't worry about somebody else. I just don't know be harsh. Because, you know, Brother Habib is mashallah very good. Jazakallah khair. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi. Abdullah, question.
Yeah, so were we supposed to, or at least the students, were we supposed to memorize that?
Yeah, students, you have to, anybody who wants to join and take a certificate at the end, this is going to take time, right? You have to memorize the hadith and you have to have patience. You have to have patience. Memorize the first hadith and next time, inshallah, we're going to just really, I'm going to make it very, very short. Finish the first one and second. Inshallah ta'ala, we'll try to be faster.
Do we recite what we memorized?
You have to recite it at the end. Like before you take a certificate or Ijaza or anything, you must memorize them and get them to me. Which you have done already, Abdullah, in the past. I mean, you can do it anytime you want. MashaAllah, you've done it already. But if you want to do it, guys, you have to memorize the hadith, right? In Arabic. You have to memorize the Arabic, just like Quran. And just know the English. You don't have to know the English. You know. Just know the meaning.
We don't have to tell you in English, just only Arabic?
Because we did the explanation and it's recorded. Go back to the explanation because you'll have tests inshallah. What's all that?
So at the end, basically at the end of the before the hadith, we just review each one half of Arabic.
That could be an option, yeah. So next class we can take the first and second. Memorize, you guys, okay, here's a homework. For next time, memorize the first and second hadith of the 14 and then we'll take them from you and Abdullah also will take them with me. So you can give it to me or to Abdullah. Because you already got memorized it. Okay, Abdullah? You're a sheikh, inshallah.
Sheikh, do you have to also memorize the, what is called, the people who narrated it?
Just the Rawi al-A'la. Rawi al-A'la is the name of the Sahabi. Yeah, only a Sahabi.
That was basically my question. So
yeah, not the chain of narrators, just a Sahabi. You have to know a Sahabi.
For the first one, it could be from like إنما الأعمال بالنيات.
سيدنا عمر, yeah. قال سيدنا عمر سمعت رسول الله. And say سيدنا, okay, to just say عمر. Any questions?
Is this the first class?
This first class. Are you in the group?
Guys,
if you're not in the WhatsApp group, you should be. If you're not in the WhatsApp group, you should be. You can always talk to Abdullah, you can talk to Harris, you can talk to brother Ashik, Muhammad Ashik, always. You know, ask them to add you. Okay, so have Abdullah, have Harris, have brother Muhammad. Give them your name and your number, he can add you to the WhatsApp group. Okay, just wait for the pizza back. Okay, someone has to do this. You know. Someone has to do sisters? Oh, my wife has to do it. Do you have sisters? I don't know our sisters, but I will inshallah talk to my wife. She's not in that town now.
Since we have the registration, should we be doing attendance every class?
Yes, please. Absolutely. Absolutely. One of you guys should take the attendance, okay? And don't cheat.
Don't cheat.
Yeah. So if you attended today, you want to be a part of this class, just to give your name to. Oh, this is recording now. So.